Well, after 4 months of strikes, U.S. actors are walking off the picket lines and back onto filming sets. Well, that's the hope, at least, as SAG-AFTRA enters a tentative deal with Hollywood studios. Looking for what impact have the strikes had, and have we felt the full effect on streaming services yet? Let's bring in our very own Canal, who's been following all this for us. In some ways, we've gotten some color from a lot of these studios because of earnings season. What's the sense you get, number one, about how they're thinking about this pipeline and how quickly things could ramp up again?
Well, in terms of ramping up, it certainly seems like once this deal is ratified, once it's passed through, they want people to return to work as soon as possible. But that doesn't mean we're completely out of the woods yet, because looking into 2024, there's going to be long-term impact from these strikes. Now, digging through these earnings reports, there's a lot of the same commentary, especially in regards to free cash flow, since we know that if there's no content to spend money on, you're going to see that cash on hand increase significantly. The big question for me, though, is what that means moving forward, especially as we see companies reaccelerate that spending. And I want to focus on two companies that we saw report earlier this week, Warner Brothers Discovery and Disney, both of which really illustrate what we could see in 2024. And let's start with Warner Brothers, because they've mentioned the strikes quite a few times on their earnings. CEO David Zaslav estimated that there will likely be a few $100 million of negative impact on EBITDA, but there were some other key takeaways as well. Number one, as I mentioned, improved free cash flow, but WBD does expect headwinds to free cash flow next year as the company reaccelerates spending. So those year-over-year comps will likely be pretty tough in 2024. Another point the company made is that this was their, quote, lightest original content schedule in years. They weren't producing anything new. They were delaying shows and movies. That carried over into the TV segment side of the business as well and contributed to declining TV revenue. The company did warn that if this strike were to continue into 2024, there would be some negative financial impacts. So these major studios certainly happy that we at least reached this tentative deal. And then if we switch gears over to Disney, they guided to $8 billion of free cash flow in 2024. That's on par with pre-pandemic levels, and it's going to be assisted by lower content spend overall. So even though the strike is over, Disney is still going to be very careful about what it produces, which is a major push from CEO Bob Iger. He's really focusing on quality over quantity content production. Disney said it does expect to spend $25 billion on content next year versus the $27 billion it spent in full year 2023. And then finally, just to end here, the box office, that's going to be a big story to watch in 2024 because we have seen major theatrical delays due to the strikes. Sony's third Venom movie, Warner Brothers' Dune sequel, Paramount's Mission Impossible film, just to name a few. So again, even though the strikes are unofficially over, we're still going to see some impact in 2020.
Alexandra Canal, thank you so much.